Hey and welcome to another devlog for They Come in Waves, a zombie survival game where you slay zombies with interesting weapons, sometimes alongside a wolf, as they come at you in never-ending waves. This week I managed to work on some interesting stuff. Firstly, I added the ability to dismember zombies. Then I had an existential crisis about my game and how much time I want to put into it, which led to me ironing out the calendar and setting a date for the release of the first demo. Then I started preparing for said demo by adding another NPC and some map interactions. I also experimented with an asset for volumetric clouds and fog. I would also like to chat a bit more about the Unity situation and the impact it's having on asset store creators, but more on that later on in the video. I didn't get as much done as I would have liked to this week, largely due to the fact that I've been working with a publisher who was interested in testing my mobile games. So that's been quite time consuming, but pretty exciting. Okay, let's get into it. I'm aiming to release the first demo for They Come in Waves at the end of October, which is just around the corner, I know. But I've been working on it for about 2 months now, and I think it's about time I got some real feedback from you, my community, about how the game feels, what you like, what you don't like, what you wish there was more or less of. I think it's very important to get this feedback early on, but another thing I've been thinking about is that I would like to release the game before the end of the year, which might be a bit of a stretch, but that would be the best outcome for a few reasons. Firstly, the internet suggests that you should have 10,000 wishlists before you release your game, and They Come in Waves is at a staggering 74 wishlists, so please help me increase this number. I think this low number of wishlists after making content about the game for 2 months now on all possible platforms as often as possible is due in part to the lack of new or interesting mechanics. If I'm being honest, zombie games are not hard to find on any of the stores. They are everywhere. It's a very difficult market to compete in, and one that is incredibly difficult to break into as a solo dev with limited resources, fighting against AAA studios. Not to mention, it kind of feels like every possible angle to the genre has been covered. It seems like there is nothing entirely new that I can add to the genre that would make me stand out in a pretty large and competitive crowd. That being said, I made a deal with myself at the beginning of this year that I wouldn't abandon any projects and that everything I work on I will release. In this way, if my game is going to fail, I would rather have it fail quickly than spend 5 years on it and have it fail anyway. So with my newfound knowledge of the market and my existential crisis over, I got to work on solidifying a plan for the release of my first demo. I decided that the demo would take place in this central area, which I refer to as Central. I didn't really want to hide the rest of the world because I want people to see that there is a lot to explore. So instead, I added some invisible walls around Central, and when you get too close to them, a little message pops up saying that the area is demo blocked. I have had some suggestions from awesome folks over on my Discord server, which you should totally join by the way, for additional maps and map builders, which is also something I'm considering, but for now we'll keep it small. I'm thinking that for the demo you'll be able to play 10 waves, but I do want to give you an idea of the general gameplay loop, which consists of, yes, slaying zombies, but also scavenging for parts to craft kick-ass weapons, which sometimes requires you to go on hopefully interesting quests. By the way, 94% of my viewers aren't subscribed to my channel, so if you're one of those, please consider subscribing. So I added Nelly over here, who is the second NPC I've added to the game. The first being Chad, who you can find out more about in this devlog about becoming friends with the wolf. I named her Nelly because she'd be nervous. My idea was that she'd be hiding in this shed, and oh boy did that idea introduce some problems. Firstly, Nelly will send you on a quest, and in return she will give you the plans to craft a flamethrower. But for you to receive weapon plans, you need to first have built the weapons bench. So I added some conditions to her quest to make it so that you can only open the door to the shed that Nelly is in once you've built the workbench. Secondly, Nelly doesn't like zombies. She is terrified of them. As such, I made it so that you can only open the door to the shed once you've killed all the zombies in the current wave. Now, because these quests are entirely optional, I don't plan on telling you, the player, that this is how it works. I plan on having various interesting conditions for activating certain quests around the world, and I want you to feel like a smarty pants when you figure the conditions out and complete quests that other people may not be able to figure out how to even start in the first place. A third issue that this raised is that new waves can still start whilst you're busy talking to Nelly, which just feels a bit sloppy. So I added this ability to the player called the safe zone ability. ability, and whenever the player is within one of these safe zones, a new wave cannot be started yet. Instead, the wave is queued to be started as soon as the player leaves the safe zone. I also made it so that Nelly closes her door as soon as new waves start, so even once you complete her quest, you will need to clear all the zombies in the current wave before you can talk to her and tell her that you've done what she's asked. Another cool use of the safe zone is right at the start of the game. It will give you a bit of time to get used to the controls and walk around a bit instead of immediately being presented with screaming zombies hungry for your soul. This general workflow for quests and making use of safe zones is going to be important for the rest of the quests I want to add to the game, so I'm glad I ironed them out now. I've been trying to make the visuals of the game look better as I make more content to put out on social media. Better looking games seem to get more attention, that and pixel art apparently. So I brought in this asset that I got a while back when I bought a bundle in support of Ukraine. It's called Weathermaker, and you can find an affiliate link to it in the description below. With this asset, I was quickly able to add volumetric clouds and fog. I could even add day-night cycles, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing in the game. The only thing is that this made my PC go seriously, it sounded like a jet engine trying to take off. It's almost as loud as my PS4 trying to run The Last of Us Part 2. So I need to spend a bit more time experimenting with the settings and performance optimizations, but it's safe to say that adding this asset into the scene makes things look freaking awesome. Now, a feature I've been toying with and thinking on how to implement for some time now is dismemberment. I mean, most zombie games have them, so indie or not, it seems like it would be a cop-out not to implement some form of it. Whilst I am going to do it, the time it is going to take me to implement this is immense. Here's why. To dismember a zombie, I need to open the character model in Blender, which is 3D modeling software for those of you who don't know, and I need to make logical separations of the zombie's body parts. Doesn't sound too bad until you realize I have to do this for every single one of the 50 zombie characters that exist in the game. I suppose I could reduce the number of zombie characters I use in the game or make it so that some zombies can't be dismembered, but I feel like if I have any chance at all of standing out in the next 2 months, these are the kinds of details I'll need to pay very close attention to. Now that I've made these cuts in Blender and separated out all of the body parts into their own objects, I created a map that maps a body part to a collider. Collider is the thing that registers collisions in the engine. This way, when you shoot a zombie, I will be able to tell which body part was hit, how much damage was dealt to said body part, and how much force was applied to it. For testing, I've set it up so that any damage applied to the body part will dismember the zombie. So now when a body part is hit, it is hidden, and a matching body part is spawned into the world and flung into the direction of the original force that was applied when causing the damage. At this point, I shared this on Reddit to the Unity and Zombie subreddits, and people were really supportive of the idea as a whole. I asked the question though, what should happen when a zombie is dismembered? And a lot of people suggested that if you get a leg shot, they should fall over and crawl towards you. Some suggested that the zombie should become enraged and hop angrily at you, which I thought was a great suggestion. And some people suggested that only headshots should kill zombies, which I thought could be an interesting mechanic. Let me know what you think of these ideas. I did settle for now though on having the zombie fall over and crawl towards you if they're hit in the leg. This logic is just based on the body part collider map. So if the collider that is hit is a leg collider, the zombie starts an ability on themselves called crawl, which plays this animation on them and has them start crawling towards the player. I left it at that for this week and thought I'd share my progress with you all to get your thoughts. So let me know what you think of where I'm at. I've also decided to start adding the Unity affiliate links for all the assets I used back to the descriptions of my videos. I feel like the asset store creators don't deserve the knock they're taking just because Unity are greedy. Also, to anyone who does use my affiliate links, thank you. Anything I make from those goes straight back into my game development, so I appreciate you. I've also launched a channel membership, so if you would like to have one of the NPCs in They Come in Waves named after you, check those out. I've also been thinking about making tutorials again for those who want to learn game dev, and based on the survey I did, people still seem to be interested in them, so let me know if you are and what you'd like to see. Thank you so much for watching this week's devlog, and I'll catch you on the next one.